record, and then we just do. Right, okay, so...
The gingerbread masterclass has begun.
The gingerbread masterclass has begun. It's going to look like I'm talking to myself, but... Okay, because you can't see him.
No, I'm hiding.
But yeah, so I'm going to bake the train because everyone turns around and says that baking needs to be precise. I don't think I've measured anything for baking except for brownies, because brownies do need to be precise. I'm not going to be measuring any of this. We're going to need probably something like, we're going to probably need something like that. But initially, just a knife will do, like so. And then how much you use depends upon how much gingerbread you want to make. So I am going to put in about half a block of butter. So I think a block is 750 grams.
250.
250 grams.
125.
So it'd be 125. Yeah.
All the best, like, sweet Christmas life choices are going to be made.
Yeah, this is not. This uses full butter, golden syrup, sugar. This is not one for your waistline. Right.
I mean, my waistline doesn't really exist at the moment because it's in Christmas mode.
It's in Christmas mode.
I'm Santa in training.
Right.
I've had too many Christmas cookies.
This is where you have fun trying to...
Do you want some help with that?
Can't actually... There we go. There we go. Okay. This will taste better if you use real golden syrup, not fake. This is fake. But we're just going to...
Going with what was there?
Just keep going. Just keep going. Okay, now we can stop.
It's what, about a quarter of that?
It's about a quarter of that.
Oh boy.
Okay. There are no eggs in this. You can just eat the dough.
Don't tell me that.
Well, that's why we make so much, because like half the dough doesn't make it to the oven. But yeah, then we pour this in. About that. The camera can't see your face, but it is a face.
It's like the kitchen wizardry is happening.
And then we have ginger and we have cinnamon. Now, lots of people put ginger in their gingerbread and then go, but it doesn't taste of ginger because it doesn't have that kind of like that fiery kick.
It's because we need cinnamon.
Because the thing that you're tasting isn't ginger, it's cinnamon. So you need both. And if you want gingerbread that's got some serious kind of like punch to it, you add more cinnamon. Okay? So I have no nails.
Do you want me to open the cinnamon?
You can open the cinnamon, yeah.
I feel like I can at least be useful. So a disembodied hand will just appear every now and again on the camera.
Yes, I am shaking my spices because otherwise they're not fine enough.
And they'll clump together inside the pot.
Yeah. Okay. Now I don't actually pour from the little shaky bit because, like, when you're using this much sugar and this much golden syrup, which is basically liquid sugar, you need to...
You just make it up as you go.
You need to go for it. There we go. About that. Oh, you can smell the ginger though.
Your kitchen is going to smell so good.
Now, I like my gingerbread to have a little bit of punch to it. So I like to put in about the same amount. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to take this over to that and melt it all together. Once it's all melted together, we're going to bring it back, which is why you can't see it, but which is why I've got a mat down, because this will be hot. And we're actually going to put on underneath that something like this, because it may have been hot enough that it melts through the plastic. But I don't have a wooden board, I've only got a plastic one.
Safety first, kids.
Mother's kitchen workshops first, and I don't think kids are going to be doing this.
Probably not.
Melty, yes, children and melted sugar. Yes, I can see that ending well. So to be perfectly honest, some of the kids in Kingston, I'm like, I mean, your mother probably let you. But yeah, so we're going to melt this down, which means that once it's melted, the sugar will be melted as well. It'll be practically caramelizing. So it will be at roughly the temperature of about 110 degrees. Roughly. Okay? It may be a little bit cooler because it's got the dairy in there with the butter. Okay? So yeah, we're going to melt this down. When we bring it back, we're going to put a mat underneath, put this on top of the mat, and then we can start adding the flour.
Okay.
And because the butter is in there, the sugar won't go solid as soon as it starts getting cold, because it's got a fat in there that's stopping it from doing so. For the same reason that if you poured cream in there, you could make caramel sauce, and it wouldn't necessarily do anything different. So, we'll be right back once I've done that, because no one needs to see that. And I don't have a method of... I don't want to hold my camera near a cooker. So... time skip. We're going to time skip, and we're going to do the good old-fashioned kind of strange square sponge-shaped thing of some time later. Okay, so sometime later has happened. This is now extremely hot, but it's not going to, you can't see inside, unless of course I suppose we put the camera up, but you don't necessarily see inside. But if I hold this up, I like do that. It's very runny. Okay, do not let it splash on yourself. Do not touch it. Do not be tempted to stick your finger in there, because it is at least 100 degrees. We are going to take our plain flour. Now you can sift your plain flour. I, however, a mother of a 10-year-old boy, and cannot be bothered with such things. Did you know, actually, on the subject of that, did you know that if you have fresh flour, you don't need to sieve it? Because it was sieved before it went in the bag.
Fun fact.
I can't claim, and yeah, we're putting in like, the aim is to like put in some, make yourself a little mountain, and then as your little mountain has been formed, then basically you fold it in and you can just add more to get it to the consistency of dough. But you just keep going around. Now, once it has formed a dough, it will still be hot. It will start to cool down fairly quickly. And once it has cooled down, it's going to be, you can kind of taste it and see how you feel about the spices and things, and add more if you need to. And it will look lumpy, but the lumps will disappear. You just got to keep stirring. And you can sort of see how it's forming into a dough, because like you can see how it wants to pull together. It's not going to stick. You know, if you've got a non-stick pan like I have, it's not going to stick to your pan. You're not going to have problems getting this out.
It does smell amazing already, though.
Can they? Making gingerbread always smells amazing. So it's like, so at the moment it kind of looks like that. So we are going to need to add some more in a minute, but we're going to keep stirring it. One, so that we introduce cold air, and two, to try and knock out some of these lumps. It won't actually matter if you cook it with lumps in. Because obviously what will happen is it will get hot again, the sugar will caramelise, which is what will make it crispy, and it will just melt.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about it. It will just melt.
It'll all even itself out in the end.
Yeah.
I suppose even if there are, like, after cooking, like, a couple of like, little lumps here and there, so give you some little nuggets of extra.
You won't notice anything. Well, no, it won't give you extra because it will just taste of flour. But
Okay.
you won't notice it. The reason we try to get rid of like as many lumps as we can is so that we is to basically give it a nice finish. Because if you've got lumps in it, you can end up with like a bubbly texture over the top. But yeah, so basically we're going to keep on, and you can see like how it's kind of like coming together. I'm going to see if I can do this. Whoa! Ah! Almost lost it. That's why, I mean, like, it's too runny to really use at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll add a little bit more of the, that won't matter, a little bit more of the flour.
To thicken up a bit more.
I was like trying to get it right to the lip there, it's slightly over, but yeah. It's kind of hard to do because I've obviously got light from the window behind me, but yeah, if you've got a bit of lump, if you've got a bit of a lump, so that's fine. You'll be fine. I mean, if you want to make life easy on yourself, I suppose, then you can sieve your flour. I don't think I've even got a sieve, so it's a little bit hard for me to do. And the mistake that a lot of people make is that they see that it's really runny, so they put loads of flour in, but they don't think about the fact that the flour goes a long way.
It's just another one of those things where less is more.
There we go. It's now looking more like a dough because it's putting itself together. It's not really running. And the other reason it won't matter that that if there's any flour things in it, it will be fine because when you go to put shapes and things in, you're going to need it a bit, which is going to break up the flour. So I suppose you could say that this is a little bit like making profiteroles, except you're turning it rather than beating it. We are like 90% of the way there.
It does look very, very good.
Yeah. Again, I will tell you now, like, that's still quite hot.
Very hot.
It's like, it's not going to burn you if you touch it, but, you know, it is hot.
It looks like really nice and smooth in that now as well.
I know. It looks like you could spread it on toast.
Yeah.
The consistency of chocolate spread.
Almost like Biscoff spread.
Maybe. So I reckon we need just a little dusting more. Maybe. And then what we're going to do is inside that far cupboard over there, there is cling film. We're going to put it in cling film and then we need to wait for it to cool.
Do you want to grab the cling film up for you?
Yeah, can do. We will need it in a minute, so. We need just a tiny little bit more. There we go, that'll do. And that means I've got a little bit left inside there for putting down when we kind of roll it out. With my new rolling pin. It's nothing fancy, but that's like a life goal there. Last year I tried to make these and I didn't have a rolling pin, so I had to use a wine bottle.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose if it works, it works.
I mean, it did work. Wine bottle and fingers. I mean, it was a very funky. We didn't make a house last year because that wouldn't have worked. Because for a house, you need it to be kind of level. There we go. You can see like the colour suddenly changes. It goes just that little tiny bit lighter.
And that's where you've hit the best bit.
Yeah, and now it's like it's physically. I can feel how it. Yeah, you take some welly to kind of, and it's all pulled round like it's now a ball inside a pan. Because what the flour does is it makes it seize. So, and that's kind of what you want. Cool, okay, so if you could open out the cling film for me.
Yes.
And we want enough to cover over the top of this.
Now, cover the cutting board.
Yeah, now the counter is still slightly damp. Which is great because it means the cling film will stick to the counter. Move that to there. Stop.
There we go.
Did you hold the bottom? There we go. So it doesn't need to be like, yeah, it's just so that we can tip it out onto it.
Is it going to be a very, nice thud? Yeah.
And then your pan, look at that, is completely clean inside. You've just got the residue of the butter, which is going to be super easy for you to clean. Done. I don't put it in the sink because my sink doesn't like hot pans. But yes, and we're now at a point where we can physically touch it and kind of pull it and things like this. But what we need now is it's not going to be okay for you to roll out. It will stick to everything. The reason for that is because the sugar is still melted. We need the sugar to solidify because this sugar won't solidify. Just go back to how it is. But we need this sugar to start solidifying so that we can actually roll this out. And then when we go to do that, we'll put a little bit of this down and we will give it a knead. Okay? To make it less sticky. But we are now at a point where we can peel bits off. This is the dangerous bit. Because we can peel bits off and pull it apart like that. And I can give you a little bit. And it's raw dough, but there's no egg in it, so you can just eat it.
Oh, but that smells so good.
It's delicious.
Just the fact that you've made gingerbread that has no eggs in it, which I think is still the fantastic bit.
And the other great thing about it is that the more it goes, and the harder it gets after baking. When it goes stale, it gets harder. Because it's got so much sugar in it, it's very hard to go mouldy. So if you don't intend on eating your sculpture, you can have it out for the entirety of the festive period and it will just go more solid. I know, this is why we make so much of it.
Because some of it will never make it to the oven.
But at this point, you could turn it into truffles if you wanted to as well. I make ginger cookie dough truffles. Or you could just put it inside a pan and chop up like some caramel. You know, like the sugar ginger that you can get. Yeah, you can get some of that and put that in it and just have it as cookie dough. Right. Like our friends the Americans have it. It's so good. And this is why I make loads of it. Because in my house, that does not make it. Not all of that will make it to the oven. Hang on a bit. Oh good.
So how long do we need to wait for it to?
So we need to wait for it to cool, at least to room temperature. So we're looking at probably waiting an hour, maybe 2. But during that time, you can eat your mince pies. Watch a Christmas movie. Jam to some Christmas tunes. Write Christmas cards, do a bit of rapping. and still get your gingerbread in the oven before the kids get home from school. Beautiful. So anyway, in order to do this, my hands are now buttery, but you can see like it's sort of spread like a pizza.
Yeah.
We don't want it to do that, so we're going to kind of pull it back in on itself like that, and then like that, and then like that, and then we're going to wrap this round like that, and like that. And we're going to grab the ends, and we go.
Kind of like you're making a gingerbread sausage.
Yep, I didn't do that particularly well, but oh no, it's split.
Do we need
so
some
we'll
more?
need a little bit more. I think I had a different kind of oh no, what a terrible tone.
More taste testing.
But yeah.
Do you want enough to wrap around the entire thing again, just to be safe?
Yeah, that should be enough. Yeah, it won't, you have to kind of, there you go. Oh, you know that weird kind of sound that I do?
Mm-hmm.
No, where I got it from this morning.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. My son was watching Mr. Bean, the animated series, before school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what Mr. Bean does when he's doing something.
Ah.
And I'm like, that's where I've got it from. Okay, there we go. So, as you can see, that is very floppy. Do you want to hold that, see how it weighs? Now, that there will make at least one gingerbread house, if not two. It will also, I reckon that there, I mean, to be honest, we've not got a child with me, so, because if we did, like,
good chunk of
that much would maybe make it. But that will make at least a gingerbread house. Like, that much, half of that will make probably about 10, 12 cookies.
That's like plenty of it there.
You've got loads, because when this comes out, it'll be slightly stiffer, and you'll want to eat it again. So, we're not going to put it inside the fridge, because it's too hot for the fridge. Okay? If you don't intend on cooking your cookies straight away, once it's at room temperature, you can put it in the fridge. And because it's got no egg in it, it will be good for a week, maybe 2. I wouldn't necessarily go further than 2 weeks because I think you'll struggle to roll it out. Not because there'll be anything wrong with it.
Because it'll start just going more and more stiff and then less rollable.
But yes, but I like to keep mine at room temperature because it means it'll be easier to roll out. Okay? If when you take it out, you find that it's a little bit too pliable, you just need more of that in.
Cool.
Okay? We'll come back to that in a minute, but when you do go to knead it out, okay, one of the biggest things is not to knead it too much because you make the sugar seize, and that's when your biscuits will go, your gingerbread will go very brittle in the oven. Okay? But yes, so we're going to leave that until it goes cold. And like I said, in the meantime, you watch your Christmas film, wrap presents, do your Christmas cards, iron, washing, whatever it is you need to do, you still have time to put that in the oven and have fresh gingerbread before the kids get back from school.
It's got such a lovely, like, I don't know what it is, but it's the chef slap. It's got such a nice...
smackable.
Yeah. It's got such a nice, like, firm smack.
So anyway, we're going to leave that. And we've got we've got 1 pan and 1 utensil to wash up, and that's it. Done. Okay. We'll be back when this is cold enough to do something with. Okay, so that's not quite high enough. There we go. Okay. So this is now room temperature. So it's still slightly warm, but you can see like it's not floppy.
Like...
It's got give in it, but it's not.
Still got some flexibility, but it's not like.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not gone like silly string.
No. Okay. So, pull a bit off. It's kind of like mouldable, but it's not floppy anymore.
I was going to say.
You have to eat some.
I was going to say, how much of this is actually going to make it to be baked?
Very little usually makes it to baking, but yeah. So good. So good. Now, oven on 180. That's about right.
I assume 180 seems to be the temperature for most things.
I am an oven watcher, so I will watch the oven. You have to. None of it gets it. Like half it has to come. Be like this is half this would be gone already if it was me and my son.
That popper.
Right. So, if you could pass me my rolling pin so we can take the sticker off it.
Oh, already done that.
Oh, you taking the sticker off already?
Yes.
So we're going to put a little bit of flour out. I'm going to just brush that to one side. Lovely. You just present me with the rolling pin, are you?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Pull these up as far as they can go. You're going to take a little bit of the flour and put it on top because otherwise it can get warm and then your rolling pin will stick to it. Like that. And I also like to put a little bit more of the cinnamon alongside. That side.
I'm not going to lie, this might end up being what I do tomorrow. I might just make gingerbread tomorrow.
Okay, so I find doing it in batches.
And snacking as you go.
Snacking as you go. That's what happens at Christmas. Right, so I've got a little ball. And you don't want to roll it out too far. Now what I realise I haven't done is got out any cutters or anything.
Would you like me to go and some
or
cutters for
lined
you?
any baking trays.
So which trays that you use for your baking?
So my baking trays are down here. Ta-da! And then in there, at the back, right at the bottom, there is baking parchment.
This stuff.
That's it, and that's baking parchment. I'll put that over there. I want it to go, if you ever want your baking parchment to go kind of upside, you have to scrunch it first.
Okay. Those are your cutters?
Yep. That's the roof and the walls, but I think we're just going to use this one today because unless you want to make a gingerbread house.
I think I'll save the drawers of gingerbread house for another day.
Okay. So it looks a bit of a mess, but it goes like that. Okay. And we're going to do several batches. So yeah, so we've got quite a big one here. This is actually designed for pies. You put it in, then I've got a little thing, you kind of stamp it, you make cups. You can make cups out of this as well. And then fill them with, I think, cherry, like a black cherry, black forest filling would go really well.
I was just thinking, what if you did like gingerbread mince pies?
Yeah.
Or that could be dangerous.
I mean, we can make cups instead.
How about we get some of those cut out first? And then
Okay, we've got plenty to do.
Yeah,
so this is basically, this is about a 5mm thickness. Because I realised that we were going to, during the interim, go to Home Bargains and pick up cutters, but we forgot.
Never mind.
We ended up watching Christmas films instead.
Mm.
Do I know which Christmas film I watched? No. So that's one. I'll do another one here. Try and get them like as close as you can. Because you don't want to kind of roll and then re-roll and then re-roll, because otherwise you'll get like seizing again. So.
Would you like me to carefully place those on the tray for you?
And there we go. So about 5mm thick.
They look gorgeous.
And then they'll go on there. Now, if we're going to do the other type, we will have to go out and get like mincemeat for stuff. Okay? But we can leave the things like out.
Yeah.
Do that.
We've still got some time to play with.
Oh yeah, loads.
Mm.
Well, we can go out and do that.
Yeah.
This doesn't want to. Come on. I quite like this cookie cutter because I think you can make snowflakes out of it if you've got icing. And a piping bag.
Yeah.
I do not have a piping bag. I can do the icing though.
I think there's a way you can make a piping bag.
Yes. I am not an origami expert. A little bit more of this. I'm pulling off a little bit more of this. Do that. Boop, boop. Oop. Yeah, that's the other reason you have to be a little bit careful with this. Because obviously if you do it too much, you've got to understand there's butter in here. So you can end up with the butter just kind of oozing out of the dough, and you don't really want that.
Yeah.
We might just about look at that. On there. Now, because there's no eggs in them, they won't spread. Okay, so we've got 5 in there. Okay, now if we go in here, there it is. I have, oops, one of these. So pull it off first. So if we move that to one side, I'll put that down here. We get some more of this.
Would you like me to get
The plunger?
Yes. Words did not wordland from me.
It's probably called a pie press actually, but there we go.
It's a clever little thing, right?
Yeah.
I shall place it just there for you.
Right. Pretty side.
Oh yes.
So we go in, get one of those, and pull this up. Put that there. These just keep coming down. Okay, so what you do is you get this. I have no way to put it. And I just have to get on top. Put it that way and put it on top of your pie thing like that relatively easily, and take your plunger. It will sort of do it by itself. This allows you to kind of
encourage it in.
Encourage, yes. There we go. Like that. Ta-da! Like so.
It looks beautiful.
So pretty. Now I just need to make a few more of them.
Mm-hmm. What do you think you'd like to film with?
Well, like I said, I think if you can get hold of like good tinned cherries, you could do a Black Forest one. That would be really cool and really nice. I think. However, because of the UK sugar tax, getting actually good quality like tinned cherries is really difficult. Because everyone's doing the sugar-free crap, which is which doesn't taste right for a start, and because it hasn't got sugar in it, it's got a substitute instead, which is 100 times worse for you than the sugar.
Yeah.
Which is why it's ironic.
But it's not sugar.
Yeah, it's not sugar, but it's worse for you than sugar. I just put that one in there like that. Ooh. This one does not want to sit properly. There we go. The oven is ready for the first batch.
Would you like me to put this in for you?
Yes, you can open the oven and put the first batch in.
Camera debut.
You were in the first one. Yeah, just the middle one. This is when we set the fire alarm off. Because my fire alarm is like tenacious. It is very sensitive.
There you go, for 5 seconds of like cameras.
It's not a camera debut, you're in number 1.
Yeah, but it's fun. And that's kind of what you want though, isn't it? For like Christmas and things, you just want to be having fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
Right, there we go. Put that one in there. Just give it a little press, that's it. You don't need to kind of really press it down. Just kind of take it and just kind of use it to kind of encourage it to hit the bottom, but like evenly. Like that. But you could put, if you took jarred mincemeat, and then you took jarred mincemeat and then you basically pimped it up a bit.
Or for like cherries and things.
Yeah. Then you could probably do it with that and it's just as good.
Gingerbread bakewells.
I mean, if you can make frangipan, which I can't, then yes. Put that one in there. Kind of encourage it to the bottom, like so. This is a non-stick pan, so it should,
Should, in theory, work.
in theory, work. And then there's the final one. There we go. And use the plunger just to encourage it to be a little bit even. Ta-da!
It's almost like
And if you want it, you must bake them before you put filling in, because otherwise they will go soggy.
Yeah.
Now they won't take long inside the oven. There's leftovers, whole block of it. Now you could put that in the fridge for whenever you next wanted to bake fresh. You could, providing it's wrapped, leave it on the side. And it won't do anything.
Or you could just eat it.
Or you can just eat it.
Little gingerbread ball. Oh.
Don't touch them right
It is like the taste of Christmas.
And apart from the fact there's a lot of sugar in it, it's not going to make you sick. There's no egg. Right now? Super good. Alright. We're going to bake these. For around 10 to 15 minutes. These ones might take slightly longer when they're in the cup. But around 10-15 minutes. But kind of like keep an eye on it. When you first take them out, they'll be floppy. Panic not. They're going to be really floppy. That's perfectly normal. Put them on the side, somewhere flat, not on a grill, not on like a dry rack or anything like that. Because obviously they're floppy.
Yeah.
Put them on the side. Put them on. Like, just leave them.
On flat surface, let them cool.
Flat surface. Let them be. When they're cool, they'll go solid like biscuit. And they'll have also kind of a nice, when you bite into them, sort of chewiness to them as well. And then, like I said, the longer that you leave them out, if you're making sculptures and things, the more, the harder they'll go. So, you know, until they'll be like rock. So yeah, which is perfect if you're building stuff. You don't intend to eat it, you just want it to look good. But yeah. But if you look in there, you can already see they'll rise a little bit, but they won't rise very much. And the rise that you're seeing is mainly because the sugar inside is boiling. Yeah. So yeah. Cool. Awesome. And like I said, we've got like a whole lump left.
Well, I'm trying to make some caps for them.
You could do if you wanted to make caps. I think they probably won't need caps.
Yeah.
But yeah. Right. And we'll come back when we're doing filling.
Yeah.
It is now substantially later, as you can probably tell by the lighting outside. It took us a little bit longer to find sweet mincemeat. This stuff than we envisaged.
The closer shops apparently had not got their mincemeat in, but I imagine that the closer to December we get, the more it's going to pop up.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know,
it's become one of those things where you start out looking for it, and then you're looking for something else.
We also had a scary moment where we could not get them out of the tins. So, but we can now. So these are currently blind baked, which means that they're still not quite fully baked. And we are about to fill them with mincemeat.
Yeah.
And then, depending upon how they taste, we might have to make some more, which is lucky, because we haven't eaten all this yet. I just realised it looks like I'm holding it.
I wasn't going to say anything, but it's like... it brings another meaning for Christmas log, I suppose.
Right, okay.
We'll edit that out.
We won't, though. Anyway, so we're going to pop this mincemeat inside the cups. Then they're going to go back in the oven 180 again for... Again, I do everything by sight. I'm going to guess about 5 to 10 minutes.
I'll probably go by that 10. Play it safe.
I'm going to say... Well, because you don't want to burn the gingerbread. So I'm going to say 5 to 10 minutes, because what you actually want to do is... The little white flecks that you can see in here, that's the suet. So what you want, and if there's lots of them, you know it's a good quality one as well. So yeah. And you want about a tablespoon worth inside each cup. And I am 100% confident these are going to taste better than anything you're going to get at a supermarket.
Oh, probably. Well, I mean, I do have that one secret ingredient. It's the homemade secret ingredient.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I was genuinely like, what have you put in these? So yes, so the reason that it's important to get a good quality mincemeat is because you want the suet that's in there, and it's just vegetable suet, to melt. Because it won't do any harm to you at all, but it also won't taste great if it doesn't melt.
No, but I think that everyone knows that anything that is homemade, I don't know what it is, but it's the magic of stuff that's homemade. It just tastes infinitely better. At least in my personal opinion.
I mean, my son would agree with you. There we go. So 6 of them took about half a jar.
But I suppose that our jar's off on the smaller end.
Well, I don't know about you, but that smell. That is the smell of Christmas. Right. Try and not waste any of that. Because, I mean, it's not expensive, but, you know.
It's a good job I'm not making it because I've been so tempted just to like.
Nope. Like I said, you can eat it out of the jar. It might be a little bit strong, but you can eat it out of the jar. It's just the fact that if you do, you'll get these kind of weird rice bits. But yes, so that is how they look now. And you'll notice how I didn't turn them enough to kind of like split things. And if you're interested, that is how the other ones look. And as you can see, they're not floppy anymore. You want one? Yeah, you want one.
They've become a guilty pleasure.
Oh, they're much harder now.
Still taste amazing.
Now, I would have had more cinnamon in that. But it's still unmistakably a gingerbread. Do you see what I mean? It's got some rigidity to it. That's really good. So good, in fact. There is, in fact, only one left.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is that. We're just waiting for the oven to heat up. And yeah. How did you find... Come this way. There we go. How did you find your, as you put it, gingerbread masterclass?
Very insightful. It's nice knowing there's a way to do gingerbread that doesn't include egg.
Okay.
Because I have tried to cook gingerbread. I've tried to cook gingerbread before. It sounds weird saying it that way, I don't know why. Or, no, I've tried cooking gingerbread before. There we go, I can English. Christmas, everybody. But every time I did it, always that either puffed out too much and thus became like ginger loaf, or just became
sort of expands across the tray.
That, or it became ginger mess because it just like imploded.
I have no idea how you managed to make a
I ended up basically having gingerbread Yorkshire puddings. It's that, well, I can't really eat those. So.
I'm going to guess that you must have used self-raising flour.
Probably. Yeah. Those were my 2 times trying to make gingerbread, and I kind of gave up. But this, I don't think I can actually get this wrong.
No, it's super easy. If you don't want it as sweet, don't put as much gum syrup in. You need the sugar, because the sugar is what will caramelise on the top and make it a biscuit. But yeah, and use plain flour, not self-raising flour. I also made the mistake of using self-raising flour, and it did just kind of puff up into like Right, oven's ready. In they go. And I reckon they'll need about 10 minutes. Maybe a little less, maybe 8 or so. I can't tell you exactly because it will vary from mincemeat to mincemeat to mincemeat because it kind of depends what's in it. This is a good quality one though.
Yeah. It does, like I said earlier, smell like Christmas.
Apples, mixed peel, brandy and spices.
You know, I remember once, it was the best year for my grandma's mince pies. God helped her make them. She would make all her own mincemeat. And 12-year-old me was put in charge of putting the brandy in.
She's a brave lady.
4 mince pies in, people could get tipsy. But
awesome.
They were a complete sellout. Like everyone was out having their lot and extras.
Well, we've put mincemeat in these because it's festive and it's Christmassy. But if you don't like mincemeat, I think, and I spoke about this earlier, I was really waiting for these to cool. I think that you can make a really nice one if you made like a Black Forest version. So make yourself some creme patissier, which sounds terribly posh, but is actually far easier than you think. And make yourself some creme patissier. It's basically cream with icing sugar. Fundamentally. It's not, you'll find other recipes that are a bit more complicated than that, but effectively you can kind of make it with that. And if you can get a little bit of, put a little tiny bit of corn flour in there as well, it means that when you get those stiff peaks from your cream, they won't, they'll hold, they won't flop, it sort of stabilises it. So, but only a little bit, otherwise it just tastes like chocolate. But yeah, so there's that. And then you get the, like I said, the cherries that are designed for pie filling. Not cherries by themselves because they're too wet. And if you get the ones that are like glacé cherries, they're too dry. You need that kind of the weird jelly stuff that goes unctuous and lovely inside pies. You put that in. You know, if you're doing adults, you could potentially put a little bit of cherry liqueur in there as well. And depends how naughty you're feeling that day. And then you basically slap on some stabilised creme patissier on top. Black Forest in a gingerbread cup. I think that would taste amazing. But yeah. Anyway, those are going to go and stay in there. I think we're going to probably call it here for Vlogmas because let's be honest, we're just going to sit and eat them next.
Yes.
But we'll put in some shots of what they look like.
I mean, I think we already know they're going to look amazing because like the cookies looked fantastic, and these are going to look even better.
We had some of the cookies when they were still just slightly warm, and they were chewy in the middle, and it was perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. I mean, some people might know what I'm talking about, but it is when you're a kid, and you find either that one a little tea shop, or like one of the small little I suppose, I don't know if it'd be like garden centres where they have the gingerbread, but it is like that where it's nice and like chewy on the outside, but it's like still, like you said, how they came out before. That it's one of those things where it sparks that memory, and so it's just fun. It's always fun.
But yeah.
But I mean, I could happily eat more of those. I could probably happily eat them all the evening, but
Yep. and I am not apologetic but to say that I have done that. But yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a perfect evening.
Anyway, that'll be the end of Vlogmas Day. I will see you tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 4. Bye.